The Doll. The morning sun cast a golden glow over a quaint neighborhood in Fresno, California, as Mai Xiong prepared for another day at school. As a dedicated schoolteacher, she possessed an unwavering commitment to shaping young minds, instilling knowledge and compassion in the hearts of her students. But beneath her role as an educator lay a deeper connection to her roots, a fervent desire to preserve the Hmong culture. Mai was born in the United States, the daughter of immigrant parents who fled their homeland in search of a better future. Growing up, she straddled two worlds, embracing the opportunities afforded by her American upbringing while cherishing the traditions passed down through her heritage. It was this delicate balance that ignited a fire within her, a burning passion to ensure the tapestry of her culture remained vibrant and unyielding. Her home was a testament to her devotion. Each room overflowed with treasures carefully acquired over the years, each item holding a piece of her ancestral history. Hmong tapestries adorned the walls, vibrant threads weaving together intricate patterns whispering tales of courage and resilience. Musical instruments, lovingly displayed, bore witness to the melodies that danced through generations. Traditional Hmong clothing, lovingly preserved, showcased on the artistry and craftsmanship that resonated through time. And there among her prized possessions stood her collection of Hmong dolls, their delicate visages capturing the essence of a culture rich with myth and folklore. Mai had acquired these treasures through various means, each acquisition bearing its own story. Some had been passed down through her family, carefully safeguarded and lovingly handed over to the next generation. Others had been discovered during her travels, as she ventured to Hmong communities far and wide, seeking out remnants of a shared heritage. Flea markets, antique shops, and cultural events all yielded hidden gems, waiting to be rescued from the clutches of obscurity. But it was not merely the allure of acquiring artifacts that drove Mai. It was the profound understanding that these objects held the power to bridge the gap between the present and the past, allowing her to traverse the corridors of time and touch the lives of her ancestors. Each piece, with its intricate craftsmanship, whispered stories, held a profound significance, a tangible connection to her Hmong lineage. In her role as a schoolteacher, Mai found herself with a unique platform to share her passion. She wove tales of Hmong history and traditions into her lessons, infusing her students with a sense of wonder and appreciation for the diverse tapestry that composed their society. Through her collection, she hoped to inspire a new generation, empowering them to embrace their own heritage and cherish the cultural mosaic to enrich their lives. For Mai, her collection was not a mere assortment of objects. It was a testament to resilience, a homage to her ancestors, and a beacon of hope for the future. With each addition, she felt her connection to her heritage grow stronger, a lifeline anchoring her amidst the complexities of modern life. The weekend came. Mai scoured shops, garage sales, and flea markets for any treasures to be found, like she'd often done during her free time. This time, she stopped at the Bazaar Grande flea market. Mai meandered through the crowd, her senses heightened, attuned to the vibrant tapestry of sights, sounds, and scents enveloping her. It was a place where cultures collided and stories intertwined, a bustling mosaic of human interactions and eclectic wares. The air buzzed with the mingling aromas of sizzling street food, the tantalizing sense of aromatic spices intermingling with the fragrance of incense wafting from a nearby stall. As she walked, her ears filled with a symphony of voices, the vendors' animated calls to entice potential buyers, the laughter of children, and the lively chatter of patrons haggling over prices. Amidst the cacophony, snippets of conversations drifted toward her. snippets that spoke of the everyday struggles of life. Her gaze traversed the kaleidoscope of stalls that lined the market's pathways. Electronics gleamed with artificial allure, drawing a crowd of tech enthusiasts. Colorful fabrics swayed like vibrant banners in the breeze, capturing the attention of those seeking the perfect addition to their wardrobes. Toys whispered promises of childhood wonder, their nostalgic charm luring both the young and the young at heart. But it was the vendors selling items that spoke to Mai's soul, beckoning her with a subtle pull, a magnetic force that tugged at her spirit. Among the diverse faces and cultures, she found her own people, her own heritage. Hmong elders skillfully arranged a bountiful display of fresh produce, their smiles mirroring the pride they took in their harvest. Conversations flowed in a melodic blend of Spanish, Hmong, and English, sharing stories of the past, of family, and of the interconnectedness of their lives. Standing out among the crowd, Mai's eyes caught a glimmering presence. Nestled amidst a myriad of artifacts lay an old, strange female vendor's stall, a sanctuary of forgotten treasures. Intricate Hmong tapestries adorned the backdrop, the vibrant threads calling out to Mai. As she approached, her senses were enveloped by the ambience, a mix of ancient whispers and the anticipation of discovery. Her eyes were drawn to a particular item, a doll, delicate and captivating. It wore a traditional Hmong dress, resplendent with vibrant colors that danced in harmony with the doll's porcelain-like complexion. Its eyes, painted with meticulous artistry, glistened with an uncanny lifelike quality, seeming to hold a spark of the spirit world. Mai felt a magnetic pull, an unspoken connection between her and the doll, as if it whispered secrets only she could understand. Curiosity ignited within her, compelling Mai to engage the vendor in conversation. The old woman's weathered face wore a mysterious smile, her eyes holding a wisdom earned through years of existence. As Mai inquired about the doll, a hushed conversation ensued, a dance of words and gestures that transcended the boundaries of language. "Where did this doll come from?" Mai asked, her gaze still set upon the doll. The old woman's voice held a melodic quality, tinged with a touch of melancholy. "I inherited her from a friend. She's a relic of sorts, filled with forgotten tales. Her intricate dress tells a story of love, loss, and resilience. The doll is very selective of her keepers. She seems very fond of you, I can tell." Mai's heart quickened with a mixture of awe and trepidation. She understood the significance of the doll's presence in her life, sensing her own sensitivity to the spirit world. It was as if the doll had chosen her, drawn to her by an invisible thread that linked their souls. Gently, Mai lifted the doll into her hands, feeling its weight and the faint pulse of energy it emitted. Its delicate clothing whispered stories of a bygone era, and its painted eyes seemed to hold secrets yearning to be unraveled. In that moment, amidst the hustle and bustle of the flea market, Mai knew this doll was more than a mere artifact. It was a conduit to a realm where the tangible and the ethereal intertwined. With a grateful smile and a nod of acknowledgement, Mai completed the transaction. The doll was now hers, a silent companion on her journey to uncover the mysteries that lay dormant within its being. She cradled it gently, aware of the invisible bond formed between them, a bond that would lead her down a path she never imagined, a path where the boundaries of the human and spirit realms blurred. Mai returned home with her newfound doll and decided to call her Shoua, though she couldn't tell if she picked out the name herself or if it was influenced by the doll. Regardless, she couldn't help but feel a sense of elation. She carefully placed the doll on a prominent shelf in her living room, its gaze overseeing the space like a silent guardian. The exquisite craftsmanship and the doll's captivating presence brought a touch of beauty to her home, a tangible connection to her cherished heritage. The following morning, as Mai prepared for another day of work, a peculiar sight greeted her. Shoua had fallen from the shelf, lying askew on the floor. Puzzled, but not overly concerned, She picked up the doll and returned it to its designated place, attributing the incident to a simple accident. Little did she know this would be the first of many unsettling encounters with her beloved doll. Days turned into weeks, and the peculiar happenings escalated. Shoua would inexplicably change positions or go missing altogether, only to reappear in the most unexpected places within the house. Each time I found the doll in an unusual spot, a shiver of unease would course through her veins, like a whisper from the spirit world, warning of something amiss. One fateful night, the true nature of Shoua's presence would reveal itself. Mai was abruptly awakened from her slumber, the darkness of her room interrupted by the slow creaking of her bedroom door. Fear constricted her heart as she strained her ears, capturing the faint giggles of a young girl and the sound of light footsteps retreating down the hallway. Mustering her courage, she ventured into the dimly lit corridor with the light of her cell phone, only to find Shoua lying in the middle of the hallway, a silent witness to the mysterious events that unfolded. Terror gripped her soul, propelling her back to the safety of her room. She locked the door, her mind awash with questions and apprehension. Sleep eluded her that night, her thoughts haunted by the presence of the doll and the unseen forces that seemed to manifest within her home. Eventually, exhaustion overcame her, and she succumbed to a restless slumber. The morning light brought little respite, for when Mai awoke, her eyes were drawn to the dresser where Shoua now sat, its porcelain visage fixed upon her with an intensity that sent a chill down her spine. A surge of unease coursed through her, a deep-rooted instinct urging her to sever the connection she had forged with the doll. In a fit of desperation, Mai discarded Shoua, tossing her unceremoniously into a trash can on her way to work, hoping to banish the haunting presence from her mind. She ventured forward, attempting to resume her daily routine. However, the respite was short-lived, for the terrors that plagued her dreams seemed to seep into her waking reality. Nightmares plagued Mai, vivid visions of a shadowy figure with disheveled hair relentlessly pursuing her through the labyrinth corridors of her subconscious. The line between the dream world and reality blurred, leaving her teetering on the edge of sanity. Shoua became a specter of her darkest fears, an enigmatic force that refused to be cast aside. Despite the turmoil that consumed her, life pressed on, and Mai's family gathered for the annual Thanksgiving celebration. The air was thick with the scent of aromatic dishes, each one a testament to the cultural richness Mai held dear. The dining table groaned under the weight of an abundant feast adorned with traditional Hmong delicacies alongside American classics. Laughter and chatter filled the room as Mai's siblings, their spouses, and their children reveled in the warmth of familial connection. But amidst the joyous symphony of voices, Mai's mind remained preoccupied with thoughts of the haunting doll. Lost in her musings, she failed to register her parents repeatedly calling her name until their concerned voices broke through her reverie. "Mai, are you all right? You seem distant," her mother inquired with a furrowed brow, her eyes filled with a mixture of love and worry. Startled, Mai snapped back to the present, her heart racing with a mixture of guilt and apprehension. Her parents' concerned gaze prompted a conversation she had long anticipated, but hoped to avoid. They gently broached the subject of her unmarried status, a pressing matter within their community. Her father's words carried a mixture of expectation and concern as he spoke. "Mai, you're 25 now, and we worry about your future. We were wondering, have you found anyone yet?" Mai blushed. The truth was she hadn't found a life partner. With so much going on, it was the last thing on her mind. Mai barely managed to utter the words when her mother cut her off. "Maybe this coming New Year's you can find someone who captures your heart," Mai's mother said, smiling. "We've spoken to other parents in the community, and they've expressed interest in finding a suitable match for you. It's time to seriously think about settling down," her father said. A forced smile played upon Mai's lips as she grappled with the conflicting emotions. She understood the importance her parents placed on tradition and cultural continuity, but she really wasn't ready to settle down, let alone discuss the topic at that moment. Before she could formulate a response, her 7-year-old niece Becky chimed in with innocent enthusiasm. "Aunt Mai, can I have this doll? It's so pretty!" Mai's heart skipped a beat, her body frozen in fear as her gaze met Shoua's haunting eyes. Panic welled within her as she struggled to compose herself. Her siblings scolded Becky for her lack of manners, reminding her the doll belonged to her aunt. Summoning a smile tinged with unease, Mai apologized to Becky. "I'm sorry, sweetheart, but this doll is for work. I can't give it away. I promise I'll buy you another one, okay?" Disappointed, Becky handed the doll back to Mai, her young eyes reflecting a momentary glimmer of confusion and sadness. With a heavy heart, Mai retreated to her room, clutching the doll tightly in her hands. How was it possible the doll had reappeared? She'd already thrown it out. The mysteries only deepened as Mai placed the doll inside her dresser drawer, the cold touch of the porcelain sending shivers down her spine. As evening wore on and the last family departed, Mai found herself alone in her room, the weight of the day's events heavy upon her shoulders. She opened the dresser drawer, her heart pounding with a mixture of trepidation and curiosity, but to her dismay, the drawer held only emptiness. Shoua had vanished once more, leaving behind a void that echoed the lingering sense of foreboding that settled upon her soul. Becky climbed into her bed, ready for a peaceful night's sleep. However, confusion and excitement filled her young heart as she discovered Aunt Mai's doll resting on her pillow. Her eyes widened with wonder as she reached out to touch the doll's delicate features. "What are you doing here, and how'd you get here?" she whispered, her voice tinged with curiosity. To Becky's astonishment, the doll seemed to communicate with her without uttering a single word. It revealed its name as Shoua and claimed to possess magical abilities. A mix of apprehension and fascination swirled within her as Shoua promised to demonstrate her powers if Becky befriended her. Verifying the doll's message, Becky cautiously agreed to the unspoken pact, her voice verbalizing the agreement. Just as their peculiar conversation reached its peak, a knock echoed through the door. Startled, Becky swiftly covered the doll with her blanket as her mother, Gao, entered the room. "Who were you talking to, sweetheart?" her mother inquired, her eyes scanning the room. "No one," Becky responded quickly, her voice laced with a hint of secrecy. Gao, unaware of the doll's presence, tucked her into bed, showering her with affectionate kisses and well wishes for sweet dreams. As her mother left the room, Becky removed the blanket, a mischievous smile dancing on her lips as she held Shoua close, preparing for a night of magical secrets. A week went by, and Becky's bond with Shoua grew stronger. The doll became her constant companion, accompanying her wherever she went. Becky had always been somewhat of an outsider among her siblings, but since Shoua's arrival, she became increasingly isolated from her family, spending most of her time secluded in her room or engrossed in her private adventures. Meanwhile, a sense of unease settled upon Mai. Something felt inherently wrong, a gnawing sensation that refused to dissipate. Determined to unravel the mystery surrounding Shoua, she made her way back to the flea market, hoping to find the woman who sold her the doll. However, to her dismay, the old woman was nowhere to be seen. In fact, the very stall where she had purchased Shoua had been replaced by a different vendor, a Hispanic man selling leather goods. The change only deepened the mystery, leaving Mai with more questions than answers. As the days went by, Becky continued to play with Shoua, oblivious to the sinister forces at play. The doll had become an inseparable part of her life, captivating her with promises of magic and wonder. Yet the isolation from her family and the intensity of her attachment raised concerns for her mother. One day, Gao received a call from Mai. her voice filled with urgency and worry. Mai implored Gao to search for the doll and retrieve it. Intrigued and concerned, Gao entered Becky's room, her eyes falling upon her daughter playing with the mysterious doll. "How did you get this doll, Becky?" Gao asked, her tone a mixture of concern and confusion. "It's magic," Becky replied, her voice laced with innocent conviction. Gao's brow furrowed, her heart heavy with a sense of foreboding. She scolded her daughter for lying and accused her of stealing. On the other end of the call, Mai listened, her own worries mounting. Promising to resolve the situation, Mai ended the call, vowing to retrieve the doll herself. Determined, she arrived at their house, where Gao handed her the doll, unaware of the sinister exchange that had taken place. As Mai left, a sinister smile played upon Becky's lips as she watched from the window of her room. Shoua and Becky had somehow swapped bodies, and now, trapped within the doll's porcelain frame, Becky cried out for her aunt's help, but the girl's desperate pleas fell upon deaf ears as Aunt Mai placed her on the passenger seat and drove off, unaware of the situation that had transpired.